Thank you, Your Honor. Mr. Jones, you're here pursuant to a subpoena today, is that correct?
Yes.
You were deposed in Connecticut earlier this year, and at that time, I arranged to have a subpoena served on you to assure that you would appear at this trial, correct?
I believe so.
And you could have come to this courtroom at any time since we've started if you wanted to, correct?
Yes.
Right. In fact, you know where the courthouse is because you've given press conferences right outside this courthouse yesterday and the day before, correct?
Yes.
But this is the first time you've been in the courtroom, yes?
Yes.
This is the first time you've been under oath in this
Yes.
case, right? And you understand that the families that I represent brought this case against you about 4 years ago
Yes.
to seek justice from this jury for what you did to them, correct? You understand that's why we're here?
I understand they sued me, yes.
Right. And this is an important case. You understand that?
I mean, that's an opinion.
Okay. You don't think this is an important case? That's a yes or no, sir.
It's not, I don't really
That's
think
a
it is a
yes or no.
case. I don't think it is a case.
Okay. There's gonna be a lot of this today. And
Objection, Judge.
All right, so let's iron out the wrinkles now. If you can answer the question with a yes or no, Mr. Jones, answer it with a yes or no. If you don't know the answer, you can say you don't know the answer. And of course, if there's an objection, you'll just wait for me to rule on the objection.
this is an important case, isn't it, Mr. Jones?
I think this is historic.
Okay. Mr. Jones, the judge just gave you an instruction
Objection.
to answer the question yes or
Objection,
no.
return to court.
So I'll
Should we do it again?
do this. So the question, Mr. Jones, is it an important case? And the answers that you can give are yes, no, or I don't know.
Yes.
You can understand why it would be very important to the families I represent, correct?
Yes.
But it's also important to you, isn't it?
Yes.
Because you've been using this case as a marketing opportunity over the past couple of weeks, haven't you?
No.
Mr. Jones, you created a new website on Infowars.com called Kangaroo Court, just so your followers can watch this case, haven't you?
That's not a website.
What would you call a web page on Infowars.com?
It's a page.
Okay, page, thank you for that correction. There's a web page on Infowars.com that you've titled Kangaroo Court, so that your followers can watch what's happening here, right?
Yes, that's my opinion.
Okay, and why don't we pull up, actually, Exhibit 504. This is, just for the witness, please. Exhibit 504, there's a screen down there for you, Mr. Jones. You see that?
Yes.
Okay, is that the Kangaroo Court page that you've had up and running?
Yes.
Okay, I'd offer it, Your Honor.
No objection.
All right.
And you see here, you've been clipping testimony that's been happening in this courtroom over the last couple of weeks, haven't you?
I have not been clipping, no.
You don't do that yourself. You have your employees do that.
I'm not even directing it.
Oh, okay, so you didn't know that this was happening?
Objection, argumentative.
Overruled.
No, I've not been there, and I don't direct most of the headlines.
They just know that this is what you want, right?
Objection calls for speculation.
Overruled.
I'm not supposed to talk about the prior rulings.
Excuse me, sir.
So how do I answer why I think something's a kangaroo court if I'm not supposed to say why I think it is?
The question that I just asked you, sir, was whether you knew that your employees wanted to do this, whether they knew that you wanted them to do this.
Renew my objection on speculation.
And it's the same ruling. Do you understand that question, sir, or do you want it played back or repeated? Because I want to make sure you're answering the question that's asked.
I don't know. I mean, I'm sure they agree with me. That's why they put that headline up.
And right above there, as you're saying, watch highlights from the Alex Jones Sandy Hook Kangaroo Court hearings, you're running an ad for Brain Force Plus, right?
Yes.
Order today, right? This is what you're showing your audience. The next generation of advanced neural activation and nootropics. Is that right?
Yes.
Okay. And how much is that going for on InfoWarsStore.com right now with the sale?
I don't know.
And ever since this trial started, and you've been calling it a kangaroo court yourself, right?
Yes.
Right. And you've called this judge a tyrant, correct?
Yes.
Okay? And you actually use that word a lot with your audience. You call people tyrants, don't you?
Only when they act like it.
Okay? And one way that you've been conveying to your audience that Judge Bellis has been acting like a tyrant is by showing her with lasers coming out of her eyes, right? You know you did that?
I didn't direct that. First time I saw it was in court.
Oh, so you've been watching this?
Yeah, I've been watching.
Okay. You could have just watched from the stage.
Objection, argumentative.
Sustained.
But you've been broadcasting your show during this trial, haven't you?
I have taped some of my show.
Let's pull up 477.
This is a full exhibit.
Is this full?
This should be in already.
It is a full exhibit.
And what was it, Ron, 477?
477, Your Honor.
This is the tyrant you've been telling your audience about, right? Yeah?
I'm barred from saying why I said it, so
I didn't
can't-
ask you why.
Oh,
This is the tyrant you've been telling your audience about, right?
I believe,
Sir?
So, Mr. Jones,
yes,
look at me.
Yes.
It's yes, no, or I don't know.
I don't know
The answer is you don't know.
about that. I didn't make
No,
that.
no. This is the tyrant pictured here that you've been telling your audience about, right?
I thought you were asking me again about the image or about me believing this is tyrannical.
No.
Can you restate the question, please?
Sure. I'll restate it for the third time for you.
Objection to the comments, move to strike.
This is,
Can we have one motion? Okay, thank you.
this picture right here, that's Judge Bellis, correct?
Yes,
Lasers coming out of her eyes, correct?
yes,
That's who you've been referring to as a tyrant to your audience, correct?
yes,
Okay, and you refer to tyrants to your audience a lot, right?
some,
Right. Tyrants are people who are going to oppress others and strip them of their freedoms, correct?
that's a common definition.
Right. And you've not just called Judge Bellis a tyrant, but you said that this whole thing, what's happening here, is part of a plot, isn't it?
Objection, motion eliminate.
No, not the whole thing. I think the jury's
Motion
real.
eliminate.
So, just, can I have that question again?
Yeah, I think what I asked
Don't
Judge,
answer it. Go ahead.
Understand, understand.
Thank you.
what you've been telling your audience is that this whole thing is part of a plot, I believe is what I asked.
Objection, motion eliminate. Politics.
That's a yes or no.
It's a yes, no, or I don't know, sir.
I
So-
thought there was, well, withdrawn. May we approach briefly?
Yes, sir.
He's going to talk about if this goes on, he'll read this, that, and everything else. And I thought that politics, was out of it. He thinks this is a plot orchestrated by. Excuse me. I don't mean that. Thank you. He thinks this trial reflects the effort of tyrants to silence him, including George Soros, Hillary Clinton, and others. And by asking this question, the door is being opened.
I said it's part of the plot.
Yeah, that opens the door.
And it hasn't just been, can we pull that back up?
I didn't hear the question.
I haven't asked one yet. It hasn't just been this way that you've been depicting the tyrant. Let me show you Exhibit 477. Is this 477? One moment. You also have displayed Judge Bellis engulfed in flames, haven't you, to your audience?
No, one of my crew made that. They make thousands of images.
Thousands of images.
Just
sir.
1 second. Is this a full exhibit?
No, it's not, Your Honor.
Pull it down, pull it down, pull it down. I'd offer it. He
No
just,
objection, Judge, I forgot the number.
461.
469.
1.
Thank you.
Do we have a bench copy?
Not at the moment, Your Honor. And that's Judge Bellis on the right there, isn't it?
Yes,
Engulfed in flames. And
And that's it.
I didn't ask who the other person
Oh,
was.
that's okay.
Yeah, that's another judge, right?
Objection, motion eliminate.
That's not what I was gonna say.
Objection, motion
That's,
eliminate.
that's another
There's no
producer's
question.
report. That's,
So, Mr. Jones, because your attorney stood up and objected, so remember when there's an.
I'll withdraw it. I'll withdraw it.
but you,
Just-
Yeah, another
just one
person
sec-
made this
just one
report.
second. Just remember that when there's an objection, just,
be quiet.
yeah, that's where, thank you.
Yes, thank you.
Another, one of your employees made that, right? Greg Reese?
Yes, it's another producer, an independent producer, his report that was made that we later featured on the site. I first learned about it in the last court case. But yes, I think it's showing that Lady Liberty's being burned up by due process being erased.
And Mr. Jones, Greg Reese, are you saying he's not an employee of yours?
He's I believe he's a contractor now.
Okay, you pay him, yes?
Yes,
Okay, you pay him to create these video segments, right?
I mean,
Greg Reese reports,
he independently makes what he wants.
and you pay him for it.
Yes,
All right, and you paid him, you can take that down, you paid him to create a little mini documentary about Bill Aldenberg just this past week, didn't you?
I don't know who Bill Aldenberg is. Oh, he's the FBI guy, I remember now.
Yeah, so you paid him to make a little mini documentary featuring Bill Aldenberg, didn't you?
I think I saw a thumbnail for it. I don't believe I've watched it.
Mr. Jones, you aired it on your show, haven't you?
I have a fill-in crew. I've been here.
No, Mr. Jones. This was last week. You were in Austin last
Well,
week.
I don't watch the breaks, so
Okay, so what happens is when you're on your show, you go to break and they just show some video. And you have no knowledge of it, is that what you're saying?
I mean, I watch a lot of it, but no, I go eat food, I go to the bathroom, I hadn't seen, I remember now seeing an article about it or something about it.
What, this is, take a look at exhibit 513, Mr. Jones. Just pull it for Mr. Jones.
ID at this
513.
point, sir.
513.
ID at this point, sir.
Yes. You have it? You have it, Mr. Jones, right in front of you?
Oh, that's-
That's it, right? That's a still shot from Greg Reese Reports
Yes,
featuring Bill Aldenberg.
I don't remember this report, but I remember this fella, don't know who he is, never said his name till I saw him up here talking about me. And then I have seen this report posted, I haven't watched it.
Mr. Jones, you don't know if you ever said his name.
I'm sorry.
I've never said his name till now.
You know that?